Unleash the beast. Yeah. Man, it's a monster inside you. That monster got heat. You already know what it is. Best of the game right here.
I hold it down for my area. I'm always rapping my area. Throw up an E if you fuck with us. Bang what you claim if you real enough. They know me at Bank of America. Got a bank and it's not in America. Gotta save it, we just had to bury it. I be flipping this shit like an area. Brand new Billy GT, that's my cherry. And I stay underground like I'm Harry. I got the game and I married it. I got the holla. They know me at Bank of America. Got a bank and it's not in America. Gotta save it, we just had to bury it. I be flipping this shit like an aerial. Brand new Billy GT, that's my cherry. And I stay underground like I'm Harry. I got the game and I married it. I got the torch, I'ma carry it. Made it out the hood, it's a miracle. From the home of the shooters like Oracle. The shit that I'm doing historical. When I'm done, they gon' make a memorial. I hold my head up like I'm arrogant. I'm chosen, it ain't no.
What it is, family? We here. I'm gonna go ahead and bring my bro in. Inside the L. Let's go. Hey.
This is Sean Payton. Yeah.
Hit the Sean Payton. One time for Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. You heard me?
It's
a celebration for Sean. You heard me? Yeah, man.
Hit the Sean one time for Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Black and gold. Huh?
Yeah.
Man, we need that, man. One time, man. Appreciate everybody in the building, man. We came and y'all know what it is. Ain't nothing surprise about it. We just got the announcement a couple of hours ago. Sean Payton will be retiring. Sucks to hear, man. So we just had to come in front of the family, get it off our chest, tell y'all how y'all feel. I mean, say how y'all feel. Let it go. Shout out to Kim. Kim want this venting session. Here you go, Kim. One time, everybody in the chat, man. Everybody get to y'all already know. Let's go. Shout out to Jasper first in the chat. What up, Jazz, baby? Sean Payton trying to go to Dallas. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm gonna say this before I start that. I'm gonna just start it right this. I'm very I'm shocked like everybody else. I didn't think, I mean, when we seen it, you thought about it, but I didn't think that it was gonna happen. And I'm gonna say this, man. 15, 16 years with this organization, everything he brung to us. I'm happy for 16s anywhere is a long time. It's got a, but if he did this to go to another team, we on your ass. But besides that,
on your ass.
We on your ass, Sean. But if you just need a break, because you got to think about this, dog. 16 years, they only got a maybe 2 months in a year that they got off to themselves. It's a grind, non-stop grind. And if you need a break after 16 years and you want to do something different, we support you, Sean. But if this a move, a Urban Meyer move, a Nick Saban move, we on your ass. But shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Sean Love, what up, Broski?
And what's important is if we hire a real another head coach moving forward, or an interim head coach. If we go an interim head coach, it ain't, you know what I'm saying? The story ain't complete. Or in-house. The story still might be incomplete as far as when Sean coming back, because they ain't terminated his contract or nothing like that. And if another team want him, they got to trade for him.
I'm on the flow, bro. Get up off the flow, Kim. Get your ass up off the flow.
Get up and do the Sean Payton. How about that?
Shout out to Kim, man. Appreciate you, Kim. There's a new era amongst us. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And y'all, and a bit of you got to be a little excited about it. I know we don't want to see Sean Payton go, but at the same time, you got to be a little bit excited. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like this is the end of the Saints organization. I just feel like it's just gonna be a new beginning, or it might be the same old. We might go the route as far as like everybody thinking and hoping, let Dennis Allen be the head coach and let Pete take over the offense like he been doing for 16 years. It's out. Yeah. Who knows this team better than Pete Carmichael? Who knows this offense? I'm sorry, better than Pete Carmichael.
And that means we still could bring Jameson if that's the case.
He know Pete Mucker Thomas. Shout out to Brewski in the building. We here, baby. What up, Hitman? Shout out to Hitman. Damn. Double S. What up, baby? Be good, man. Where's the press conference at 3? It's at 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock, yeah.
I didn't know it was at 3. Oh,
yeah, it's gonna coincide with us. It's gonna coincide.
Well, shit. What we gonna do
get a taste of it.
We're gonna I'll let it run. Once the press conference come on, we'll let it run. If he shout out to Kim. If he's retiring, I can respect that. But if he's doing this to go to Dallas,
he getting a diss track.
He get on his ass. On his ass, Kim. Yeah, he gonna get that treatment. Shout out to Elite Goods. What up, baby? I guess Dennis Allen, a new head coach. We don't have no problem with that. We have no problem with that. Have head coaching experience, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you. You're gonna see a different type of style as far as how the game is called and everything with Dennis Allen. Not as on the offense, just overall. Because Dennis Allen's not as much of taking a risk or all that. He's a defensive minded coach. So you're gonna see how that goes. So I ain't tripping on that.
Is this why he brought Ryan Nielsen back and didn't let him go to LSU last year to be a D coordinator? Hey, you about to be a D coordinator in the NFL. Don't be a D coordinator in college when you could be one in the NFL. I think that's who getting the spot.
Would he consider to go with Taysom or re-sign Jameis? Hopefully he goes to Jameis.
He better.
Jameis. So and real quick, L, how do you think this affects Jameis' decision of re-signing with us? Like, do you think that's a big because he loved Sean Payton? I listened to we saw the interviews how much he respected Sean Payton. One of the reasons why he here, this offense, everything that goes with it. You know what I'm saying? If Sean Payton tell me something, I'm listening. You know how that go. But
that's my thing. If we go in-house, move Dennis Allen up to that position, I think Jameis comes back because I think Sean Payton still will be a consultant for this team. He's still going to be around his team. He's still going to be coming in, probably coaching up players or giving advice. You know what I'm saying? Secondhand advice. Make sure Pete running his offense the way he wanted to be ran. You know what I'm saying? Or how he would run it. You know, I think he's still going to be around the team, and I think that's what would make Jameis stay. But if we bring in a new head coach like a Mike Zimmer or Brian Flores or whoever out there, you know what I'm saying, that's a head coach that we might bring in outside the building, I think Jameis ain't coming back.
Man, I don't want Mike Zimmer. What up, Eric? What up, Pickett and Flickett? What up, baby? Shout out to Pickett and Flickett. What it be? I wouldn't be able to take or understand that Dallas shit unless they give him 100 M's.
A blank check.
Oh yeah,
it gotta be a blank check situation.
Gotta be that. I really don't want Dennis Allen as the head coach. Why, Tremont? Why you don't like him as a head coach, bro? Talk to me, baby. What up, Be Kind? Shout out to Be Kind in the building. What's up, baby? It's a lot of back and forth. Some saying he not retiring, some saying he is. Yeah, I know, man. I know he got a lot that going on.
He could be taking a break. He could just be taking a break.
I'd rather get Eric B&B for an interview. I mean, I just like this, bro. I really want to just stick within the culture, bro. I'll be honest. Hey, shout out to Eric, man. I think he's gonna be a great head coach. He already a great assistant coach. Shout out to my son. As soon as we start streaming, something goes on. Go ahead, I'll talk to him.
But if Eric Bieniemy come in and get a head coaching job, that means we probably lose Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael. That whole offense is getting wiped out. Then we really in the rebuild. If we hire somebody outside of us, I feel like we really in a rebuild. But if we stay in-house and hire Dennis Allen or even Pete Carmichael, I don't want Pete Carmichael to be the head coach. But if we hire Dennis Allen or Ryan Nielsen as the head coach, I think our culture stay the same. I think all the players stay the same. Who we target as far as free agents stay the same. I think all of that will stay the same. Honestly, even the cap of finessing, all that's gonna stay the same.
All that stays the same. All those people are here. Jeff Island didn't get a head coaching or not a. I think he was a GM, a directory job for the Bears. They already hired that guy. So Jeff Island will be back. Nice. The cap guy will be back. Kai will be back. So kind of a push move to retire after Drew.
Yeah. What is it? Kind of a puss move to retire. No. I ain't hit a puss move part.
It just was, like I said, I keep saying 16 years, y'all. 16 years is a lot. It's a lot of time, man. Anywhere. Have anybody been on their job 16 years? How many times you want to quit that mark? You know, whatever.
I hate that both of them bitches retired before time.
Yeah, what's good, young blood? What up, D, baby? Shout out to D in the building. What's up, baby? D? Saints SB2. What up, baby? Super Bowl 2, that's you? The coach ones are the best games we have seen from the Saints in a couple of years, and on that 9-0 upset. Who you talking about? Oh, DA. DA coach one of the best games we see. Oh,
yep.
Here we go. We go. That's why I say too. I'm not tripping. I'm not worried about DA as a head coach. I like DA. He's been a head coach before, and he has everything around him that's gonna make him great. So I'm not worried about him as a head coach.
He deserved a job too. Honestly, he deserved a job. How good our defense been and how he built that defense to match our offense or to help our offense out over the years. He deserved that job, man.
Yeah, for real. Real talk. And I don't think he wouldn't want to take no other job with Diaz as a head coach, man. I'm telling you that especially that every defensive player resigning. You know what I'm saying? That we got to. Did we not hear what DeMario Davis spoke about? How he spoke of DA? Did we not hear one of the smartest coaches he ever been around and want to play for? Man, come on, man. Like, I know we all love Sean, but dog, that defense loved D8. That defense loved D8. I'll be honest with you.
So I got a question. So at this press conference, who you think is going to be? Is Sean Payton going to be at the press conference?
I don't know. I just found out.
Or is it going to be Mickey? It might be Mickey, huh? I think it might be Mickey. I hope Sean Payton at the press conference, honestly. I want to hear from his mouth of what he planned on doing.
I definitely want to see him what he got. Shout out to Kim W. Ditto Kim. Like, I love this. Shout out to the Kims. Shout out to the Kims. One time for the Kims right behind them. Got Kim W, Kimberly W, and Kimberly W. And then like, did you not tell the players because they look they do? That's another thing too. Like, I seen DeMario look, I mean not DeMario, I seen Quan look like, well, damn, and I also seen CD with the gift. With the
Quan said something?
Yeah, Quan said, well, damn.
See, I ain't see Cam
he wrote that on. Cam made a joke about the Netflix deal, the 1-year deal or something like that with him.
Yeah, he said,
I see Cam, but Quan was like, well, damn, and CD put the fucking the Kevin Hart, you know what I'm saying?
Blanket. Oh yeah, the Kevin Hart joint, yeah.
So yeah, that's my thing too, Kim. Did you not? Did we not tell it?
Coach Sean Payton, appreciate you for giving me another chance. The ball legendary coach for sure. Wish you nothing but the best in the future.
Much love to the Quan. 3 minutes and 3 o'clock Saints news replete. I got you. Well, so as it go, I get it on my thing. I'm gonna let y'all hit. Oh yeah, I do it. See, watch now. I got it.
Yeah, let's be in that bit early, man.
I wonder if we could put it on here.
Nah, they're gonna try to boot us, son.
Man, I didn't see my other pods like do reactions on the I don't know what it is. I didn't see them have the, you know what I'm saying? Play by play. Yeah. So we ain't gonna have the image up, y'all, but we all gonna have the you're gonna be able to hear. We ain't gonna be able to see it, but we're gonna be able to hear everything. Thank you, be kind. Who that is time for a chain? Let's go. Everybody know is same plays anyhow. The same plays anyhow, huh? I'm bro. Shout out to Wireless. What up, baby? Fam, I knew it was something more to it when Miss Benson spoke on it. She drove me when she said that yesterday. We were talking about it.
Giggling,
we was like, shit. We thought there was like, plotting against the media type of deal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it came, it was true. Ian, you got one. Shout out to Ian Rappaport. He was on it. He was the first one that said, and
that's it came out to be true. Apologies to you, pimp.
Yep. Damn. What up, OG? One time, OG in the building. What up, JP? One time. Make sure y'all pull up the press comment at 3 so we can listen. Oh,
we got you.
I got you covered. Look at, check me out. Yeah, I got you covered. We here. Don't trip. I got y'all. Hey, y'all. You already know, OG. The future is now. And like I said, dog, this hurts. But we gonna go through this for the next couple of days, and then we're gonna be looking for what's next. Shout out to my brother Brew. What's next? You know what I'm saying? Next? We gotta worry about what's next. We gotta worry about what's next. That's all it is. Trust the Loomis. Huh, bro? Double S. What up, Double S? I'm just gonna say trust the culture. You know what I'm saying? Trust everything that we done built over the years. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sean Payton, man. Who that family? What up, Ty, baby? Shout out to our guy Ty in the building. What's up, baby? It's the new wife she talked.
That's what you was talking about,
that's why I said that.
That's what you was talking about, brother.
I said that. Now we talking about retiring and all this. I ain't want to get into man personal business, but I do feel like it's the new wife. I never heard of her, never seen her at a Saints game.
She might be a Cowboys fan.
I don't know it. I don't like her already. But they ain't
somebody Google the wife and see where she's from. Is she from Dallas, man? Texas?
Where's she from, man? I'm hot. Go ahead. I'm going through these comments too. I see y'all in the building. Appreciate everybody. But Taysom might be the quarterback for sure if DA and P coaching. I hope they believe in James. Oh no, I don't think
James is coming back.
I don't think that. People listen, James. Everybody on that team saw who was the best quarterback. There's nobody in there saying, "Oh, I believe in." Shout out to Taysom. But nobody says I believe in Taysom over Jameis. As a Saints fan, I don't care. As a Saints fan, we saw that. So imagine them in the building every day. They clearly saw the difference.
At practice and everything. They could see more of it.
I saw that Dennis and Dan. Who was Dan? Who was the other one? Dan. Who is that? Dennis and Dan is the next. No. Aaron Glenn. Dennis and Aaron Glenn. I don't want Aaron Glenn. Shout out to Aaron Glenn. I don't want Aaron Glenn. Shout out to Aaron Glenn. Then it's time to get your name in the Hall of Fame, huh, bro? Talk to him, SPN. What up, baby? My wife does that now if I'm working too much, huh, bro? Bro. Be on your ass, huh, Jasper? You working too much, you gonna spit. Ain't got no kids with him, though. His kids grown and all this other shit. Now, anyway, I look forward to a new beginning. Shout out to Dada. And that's how you got to look at it, brother. People looking at it glass half empty. We got to look at it half full, baby.
New beginnings, that's why we came on here dancing to that Sean Payton.
Do the Sean Payton.
We're going to celebrate Sean, and we're going to move forward with our organization because the game's still going. The schedule's still coming out next year.
At least we're not going to draft players out of position and get all these damn Ohio State. I think it's still the same, bro. I'm telling y'all that pipeline. It ain't just Sean. It's not just Sean, y'all. I think it had a lot to do with Kai and Jeff Ireland too. That's what they like. Jeff Ireland and Kai bring the guys to Sean, and Sean, you like them? You should look at them. Yo, miss my brother. So good to see y'all. Hope y'all healthy and well. Gang. Shout out to OG Sean P. What up, Vince, baby?
Vince.
Man, we doing great, bro. Hope everything good on your end, man. We just in here celebrating Sean Payton. Let the fans express their feelings. We know how it is. So, appreciate you in the building, man. Much love. Till you spend facts. I'm cool with a break, but I need to know when is he legally can coach again. If he don't come back here, what do we get out of it? We not ripping up on contract around here. I'm bro. Talk to him, D. What he got going on? How long you taking this break? Now, if you take this break for a year and come back and want to go somewhere else, we got a problem, Sean.
Oh, we got a big problem. And the players better have a problem too. They better take it personally.
Congratulate to my guy Sean, and y'all down way too much. So happy he did this right now because we can interview early. Dennis Allen should not be the next head coach. He's not good with the media. That's huge. Right, man. Shout out to Hitman, man.
I think he's a good coach.
Hey, I think I disagree on the Dennis Allen, but I definitely agree with them being happy he did this early so we can get our fans in order. He didn't pull a Drew Brees or a shot, you know what I'm saying? Waiting in the mountains and all that and let us know what's going on. He let us know early so we can get the ball growing. And didn't I say that, L, when we was talking about him meeting yesterday? About he probably getting everything together.
In order. Yep.
I said that, man. I say shout out to Hitman, man. A lot of players only wanted to come to NOLA because of Sean. See, now what we gonna do about that? You know what I'm saying? But
and James is one of them. James is definitely one of them.
But do they believe in the culture? Do they believe in the culture? You know what I'm saying? Has our culture been that important where that can oversee that? What Sean has built? No, we're gonna see. NOLA Bros. OG, you know what it is, baby. I said that shit yesterday. Shout out to Woo, baby. Who that? Where Sean at? Shout out to Universal Love, man. I don't know where his ass at, man. We're gonna see at 3:00. We got it rolling. We waiting on the interview just like everybody. So once it come on, y'all gonna hear it straight live. You already know 3 years left on the contract deal. We own his rights. Yeah. Your ass better not go nowhere. 3 years. He ain't getting younger either. How old Sean is? 60?
That's what I said. So he retired next year. So he's gonna be considered retired this next year coming up. And then the season after that, the people are able to trade for him. That's the only way he could go to another team or he could come back.
I think Jameis come back. Allen Carmichael and Nelson can replicate what was done in Pittsburgh post. Hey, Bill Cowell. Hey, man, you talking that shit. So sweet. I like that, Ty. Hold on. It's my mama FaceTime. Let me answer why she was
my mama hit me up too. Why was she tell me something about my mama? I already know.
That's my mama. Yeah, man. What's up, man?
You working?
You know it. We live, man.
What's up, Mom?
Sean Payton, man. We talking about Sean Payton, huh? Come on the show, man. Come on the show. We like, look. Come on the show. All right, man. I like it. Yeah, I'm trying to see what's fucking going on. Shout out to my mother. Oh man, leave Mike Zimmer where the fuck he at, please. Real talk. I don't want Mike Zimmer. I don't want his old ass. I don't want him. I don't think he's gonna be around. I think he's gonna break for real. Just marry a young wife, bro. I don't think he's gonna be around. I think he's gonna break for real. Just marry a young wife. Oh, here we go. Sean Payton.
Oh, it's Sean.
It's Sean, y'all. Here we go.
Let me see if I can get situated here a little bit.
Here we go, y'all. I'm just gonna read through the comments as we go down. I'm just gonna stroll through them, y'all. It's a roller coaster.
I'm going to cover a few things here that
I don't like
I'm
it.
making notes last night thinking, like, how do you do this with COVID? And how do you leave?
I
How do
feel
you
that
step
killing me.
aside? And I'm not a good writer. And I'm thinking, you know what? And Doug, no offense, but man, the Zoom angle on my face for the last 2 years has driven me crazy. So I don't want that to be like a lasting, indelible impression on anyone.
Baby?
And fortunately, I think we managed to come up with a good setup here, just with the space and everything that we've been through. We collectively, all of us, with COVID and
Shout out to Brady.
and managing to go about our business. Last week, I had a great visit, a tough visit with Mickey Loomis and Mrs. Benson and Dennis Lauscha, relative to just looking ahead with what I want to do. And Mickey and I now, we're 16 years, and so I think that was challenging just because of our friendship more than our professional relationship. And then Mrs. B was awesome. You know, I love this about her. She said, well, go away for 2 or 3 months and come back in training camp and we'll be ready to go. And I thought that sounded pretty good, actually. But I'm glad that she told me to spend some time away and give this some thought, because it is a big decision, and it certainly affects a lot of people. You know, it's not often you as a coach
don't be sad, Brady,
have that opportunity to possibly leave, and it was something that certainly I hadn't really thought about over the years. You know, we coach, and at some point they tell you to leave, and as difficult as being fired is, it sure seems easier to thank everyone and move on your merry way. But this, I'll try to hit everything, and I'm going to ask or answer every question until you guys are done answering. So I'm sorry if this takes a while, but we're not in any hurry.
Okay.
So I like watching Netflix. I like watching TV shows. I think you guys do as well. And it's Mardi Gras season, and I'm a kind of a Ted Lasso fan. And I do have a regret. 15 seasons, 16 years here, and I've got like the best female owner in the world of sports. And, you know, we don't do biscuits here in New Orleans, but we do king cake. So where's Mrs. B?
Love.
They love each other.
And if you don't watch Ted Lasso used to bring the owner of his soccer club biscuits, cookies every morning,
like
every day.
100 of them for the media and everyone else that's here to kind of celebrate the Mardi Gras season. I want to start and bounce around here, but I want to start with a series of thank yous. It's important. And so thank you, Mrs. Benson, for being there could be no better owner for me to have worked for, starting with your late husband, Mr. B, Tom Benson. When I was sitting around last night thinking about how I wanted this to unfold, I Google searched Breeze, and it's like, I hate following Breeze. And he brought up some of the same stories. Mr. B was always one of those guys that for every meeting I had with him, it was never football related. It was always about
I don't like buying related with
something other than football. And he had a dish of Tootsie Rolls and Hershey Kisses. I'd go in there, we'd talk about family, we'd talk about anything other than the Saints, and I miss him. And I realize
what's up, ice cream man?
the time and the timing of me coming here back in 2006 was perfect. And obviously us having some early success worked out. But I wish he was here. And Mrs. B, you've been fantastic, carrying on everything about his legacy. And I know he would be extremely proud and is extremely proud. So he's not here right now, but he is. And so I thank the two of you for being great owners. And I mean that beyond just being owners. I thought about this. I can't think of one time the answer was no. Now, it might be like, oh, we're trying to do something and we don't have enough time to remodel. And so it might have been time driven, but the answer was never no.
Shout out to T, facts, baby.
And look, that's easy when Mickey has the credit card and I've got the wish list. I'd like to thank Dennis Lauscha, our president and a good friend, for
bit Rob crazy.
People talk about culture and like, what's the secret? Teams right now, 8 teams, 9 teams, they're all searching for the right culture. Everyone wants to know how. And it's very difficult. And yet, if I was writing a book, I'd say it's also very simple. The alignment of ownership, your club president, your general manager, your head coach, right through your roster, that sounds easy. But like any relationship, they require work, right? I mean, it requires time and energy. It requires a similar goal. It requires us all to kind of like lay down our arms and our egos for the best of the team. And if we ask that of our players, then certainly we have to ask that of our organization. So it's sometimes, I was fortunate at a young age to really be around some special coaches. My high school coach, my college coach, and then in this league, you know, you sometimes get jobs and it's coincidence. Sometimes it's good fortune. Sometimes it's not good fortune. But those roots for me, or those bloodlines for me, as I look back on it, were extremely important.
Me too. What up, Marco? Shout out to Edwin too, man.
With our
what
staff,
up, baby?
and I told our young coaches, man, you have your feet grounded in, you know, the
Big
job
problem.
you have, and these things that you want very fast will happen, but they may not happen in the timing that you want them. But the point I'm making about Dennis is, it's like a good baseball team right up the middle, from the catcher to the pitcher to the infield to the outfield. We were always in concert.
I hope so, Kim.
It didn't mean we always agreed, but we were always in concert. And for a first-time head coach 16 years ago, that was important, and more important now that I look back on it than I ever realized. And so I thank you and appreciate you. We had a lot of trips. We had fun trips, crazy trips where the very first year before we drafted Reggie Bush, we were out selling tickets and listening to 80s music and trying to figure out who knew the words. And then when we drafted Reggie Bush, we sold out. And I'm like, thank God we don't have to go on those freaking ticket bandwagon drives. We've been sold out ever since. Mickey Loomis, a dear friend. I would say, more importantly, a friend, just as importantly, my general manager, and just as importantly, the person that gave me this opportunity. You know, he took a chance on a first-time head coach, and you guys know kind of the batting average and the challenges for these positions. They're hard. Every year we're reminded of that. And I've written about this. I've spoken about it. And look, I had just interviewed in Green Bay with the late Ted Thompson. Man, man, I thought I had a great interview. And when I landed here, it was right after Katrina in January. And many of you remember that. And I just thought, when I met Mickey, I thought, man, I like this guy. He's got a heck of a task ahead of him. And I kept looking at my flip phone at the time, waiting for that Green Bay area code to come in. And I got the message that evening that they had gone in a different direction. And I remember just throwing the phone into the pillow and thinking, holy cow. And it was the best thing that happened. And sometimes, again, you don't have any control over that. And so
we're gonna see at the end of this shit. We're gonna find out.
He trusted his gut. And beyond just hiring me, I can't think, we've had disagreements multiple times, and yet we've always been in concert. And so, like, one of my biggest, not concerns, but one of my biggest second thoughts was, man, I don't want to not be around this really, really good friend of mine. And so, so that's not going to happen. I mean, I'm actually moving into another property here locally, but more than my general manager, more than the person that hired me, more than all of those things
locally
is, I would say, one of my best friends. And
damn, one of his best friends. That's what's up.
And I appreciate
You're
that.
trying to hold back tears. So
fucking
I
ready
appreciate that.
Is he? Drinking that water ain't gonna help, brother.
I mean, I could give you 1,000 stories that would be interesting because our personalities are so different. Like, he walks slow. It bothers me. I want him to pick it up. When you make a decision like this, you spend time with your loved ones, you spend time with your family. I've got, a daughter who's out west in media trying to become what many of you are, and a son who's in college. A wife, Skylene, who we've been together for many years, 10 years, and got married last June.
Oh, okay.
And I've confided in those guys quite a bit and talked about these decisions quite a bit. And I appreciate them. And they've been extremely just good listeners, because ultimately, like, we all want happiness for our friends. We want happiness and health for our friends and family. Those are the two things I think about, maybe as I've grown older. If your children are happy and healthy, then you're blessed, I think. And so I feel like there's been a very steady listening group here, and without any angle relative to, hey, what is it that you're looking for? Because honestly, as I sit here today, and this is okay, I don't know what's next. And look, I read the reports and I understand. I've not spoken to anyone from a media outlet relative to doing television or radio. Maybe that opportunity arises, but every time I read something that says, like, he's in line for this job, I'll call my agent, Don, and I'll say, Don, did you hear something? Because I have not heard anything. And that's okay. I think I'd like to do that. I think I'd be pretty good at it. But
he like to do it. He won't do it. I ain't mad at him. So stepping outside, like in the cold weather today, and being a little uncomfortable professionally or from a career standpoint is okay. I don't like the word retirement. Mr. B didn't like it either. He always said, retirement's overrated. We get sold this whole image of retirement by these investment groups on TV and golf courses and retirement. And so, I still have a vision for doing things in football. And I'll be honest with you, that might be coaching again at some point. I don't think it's this year. I think maybe in the future, but that's not where my heart is right now. It's not at all.
He coming back, y'all. I just don't know what team he going to.
And I feel this way.
Shout out to my mom. What's up, Mom?
I don't want you to nod your heads in agreement. You can tell me later, but when you come in as a young coach, you make a lot of mistakes, because you're trying to do everything you think you need to do, and it's not until you get older and more experienced that you realize the more important things are this and not that. And hopefully, in my latter years, you guys have found me very accessible, very friendly, very open, and maybe eager to please, or at least accessible. And that's what the Jenny's ice cream is for every off season and Christmas time. So, but I do appreciate your jobs, and I recognize, especially in the last 2 years, how difficult those have been. People don't understand when all of a sudden you practice inside, and with the COVID restrictions, the relationships that many of you have with our players, it's hard to do those jobs effectively as you might like. I mean, when's the last time you've been able to go into a locker room after a game? And we kind of miss that, really. I do, honestly, and going into the presser after a game and looking at a laptop. And so I appreciate every one of you. I think, and I've worked in a lot of places. I've been in New York, I've been in Philadelphia, I've been in Dallas. Those are big media markets. But I appreciate the relationships and the manner in which you guys have done your jobs. And I mean that. And probably knowing what I knew now, I probably handled my first 5, 6, 7 years differently relative to the media, where you come in and you just don't know enough yet. But thank you. And again, I'm going to see many of you for years to come. I want to thank the city and the fan base.
That's us, family.
I'm going to get into a little bit of 2006 and maybe the early journey, but I don't think any of us, when we started, certainly I didn't, when I started, understood the dynamics and what took place post-Katrina with that 06 season that I thought, and I would argue, was every bit as important as any other season that we've had here relative to where the city was. And it became much bigger than football. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, but this fan base has been amazing. And you do this and you travel to cities and you see other venues. This is by far one of the most difficult places to play. And unfortunately, we didn't win enough home games this year, but man, the fans are something else. It's not a wine and cheese crowd. People make decisions to buy season tickets here that goes into their budget relative to what other things they're choosing to do. We appreciate all of that. I have a really good memory and can remember back in 06 when we drafted Reggie Bush and we drafted the rest of that class and the excitement level. I don't have a history. I've met now Tulane Stadium, Jeff, I'm guessing holds 70-some thousand people. I don't know. All right. But I've met 110,000 people. They told me that they were there for that game and the kick return over the years. And the passion that has been handed down generationally is unbelievable. Because when you're a young kid, you root for who your dad or mom root for. You don't know. And so the amount of stories post 09 season, where a grandparent wasn't alive to see a Super Bowl, but they were, all of that just makes what we do, fulfilling, pretty special. We're teachers, but that's unique. And I don't know that any player back then, when we signed on, or any coach, myself included, knew quite actually what we were getting into. And that's the truth. So thank you, City of New Orleans.
Long with it,
Our
huh?
fans. I'll be honest, when I hear the Bengals,
What we here
I'm
for?
rooting kind of for Cincinnati a little bit in the postseason, but the Who Dey thing.
Oh yeah. Get him, Sean.
Yeah, hold on.
Sean. Yeah, Sean. Get him.
Yeah. That's what the fuck I was saying. I'm glad you said that. That Who Dey shit. Yeah, I like it.
McGuire, there's a scene in that movie where Tom Cruise is in an office building. He shouts out, "Who's coming with me?" And he grabs a goldfish, and Renee Zellweger says, "I'll come." And they began a journey. And in 2006, 16 years ago, it kind of felt that way at that time. There's a special spot in my heart for the coaches, the staff, the players, everyone who came.
I'm a Broncos fan when I'm the only
When 90% of the
shout out to
cars
Braden, baby.
But all your
were
kids will
leaving.
be Saints fans.
I can remember the trip in on I-10, and there was no traffic heading south, but all of it was going north. Coaches like Pete Carmichael, Joe Vitt. Joe Vitt he was the only coach that I hired that year that had a number of other options, and he chose to come. Everyone else, every one of us that came, were all promoted and just paid better. Curtis Johnson, Greg McMahon, Gary Gibbs. I'm not going to be able to hit on every one of them, but those of you that coached in 06, I can't tell you how thankful I am, because like we actually had a rule. We came up with a rule after our first month that no one could say the K word. No one could say Katrina, because there were a lot of reasons for why we weren't going to be successful, and we tried to look past those. So to those coaches, I appreciate it. Here's what will help you be successful, Deuce. You draft Reggie Bush in the first round. He plays 10 years. You draft Roman Harper in the second round. You acquire Jeff Fain. He starts at center. Roman plays 12 or 14 years. You draft Jari Evans in the fourth round. He's going to end up in the Hall of Fame someday. And you also acquire Hollis Thomas, a nose tackle who I was with in Philadelphia. You draft Rob Ninkovich. I'm back to young and dumb here. I'm back to young and dumb. And I don't have a vision. And so we get him out of the building. He comes back in the building, and I tell him he's going to be a long snapper. And then he goes and wins 2 Super Bowls for New England. We make mistakes. But he ended up being a fantastic player. And in the 7th round, you draft a lineman out of Northwestern by the name of Zach Streif.
What up, Nady, baby?
He plays 12, 14 years.
Just talking
he
about
does
it.
play-by-play just because he wants to. And then he becomes an assistant coach here. And you draft Marcus Colston with a compensatory 7.
Quiet Stone.
So when we talk about the quick window we all have to get started, earn credibility, get your program off the ground, it has to include the procurement of good players. It has to. And we didn't know it then, but those were the pillars, along with any free agent that came. Pierre Thomas is going to come a year later. But those were the pillars.
Darren Sharper.
Oh, he ain't gonna talk
of
about
young players that
not,
we built
he ain't
on.
got to mention
Now,
Darren Sharper.
mind you, we also signed in free agency
forget.
Scott Fajita.
Vegeta.
He came with, we knew each other. Mark Semino, we acquired a week
Mark
before the
Semino.
season. Scott Shanley,
Oh, Scotty.
Drew Brees.
The GOAT.
That's a pretty good group of free agents.
The GOAT.
We took a chance on Drew at that time because, quite honestly,
Love it, Slim South.
we weren't going to win any jump balls. And that's the truth. Like, in other words, we had to be a little overly aggressive to win the game, if you will. The status quo or just – and so, man, it was the best chance we took. And so I thank Drew and his wife Brittany and their family. I spoke to him at length last night about this decision for the first time. And he was fantastic. And I did call him during the season, and we discussed him coming back. And I think both of us agreed based on our lineup versus Miami. It was a good thing he stayed and didn't come. I also want to thank the players.
He did call him. Wow.
That were here that were ready to win and wanted to join in. Bill taught me that remove the blinders when you're evaluating these guys and understand there's going to be good football players. Deuce, we talked about it just a minute ago. John Stinchcomb. I'm not going to hit everyone. The late Will Smith, Steve Gleason, Charles Grant, Brian Young, Freddie Mac. There were a number of players on that roster that were thriving for this culture change. And therein lied a little bit training camp at Millsaps, and that was difficult. And yet,
He
so
was
there's
talking about
elements that went into that
the
06
Who Day.
team that
Bengals calling themselves Who Day. He don't know what the fuck that is.
that were extremely important. And back to those coaches, myself as the head coach, I kind of feel like we're in this business of
The
serving.
motherfucking goat. You know what I mean?
We're teachers at heart,
He not gonna say so.
and we're grateful to be in this position. Quite honestly, I know
We're universal love.
for me it was play until they tell you you can't play anymore, and then it's like, well, all right, I don't want to leave though. All right, then you have to coach. And I've always felt grateful to be able to teach and be part of the locker room, even though I wasn't playing. And our roles as teachers are those of service. And so I appreciate that group of coaches and that team. And I still say to this day in 06, we've had a lot of teams, probably teams that are better than the 06 team, but none tougher than that 06 team. None tougher than that 06 team. And that leads me back to that whole city rebirth and fan base and people. That's when I grew to know, like, holy cow, this is bigger. This is bigger than any, this is more than just football. This is more than just football. I didn't know how to eat a crawfish at that time. I was kind of on the beignets.
On the beignets.
King cakes with cream cheese, a number of things, but everyone wanted to know, hey, how do you like it here? And honestly, in your first year, you're when you're not from here, you're figuring it out. Here are the players.
I don't think so, Ro.
Here are the players.
Darren Sharp or Junior Gillette. I don't think so. I don't think so. Not the belt whooper.
The belt mangler.
In these 16 years, Teron Armstead. I want you to know this about him. If there's one thing, he is a tremendous leader.
Love it.
And a tremendous player.
Sign him back.
Drew Brees, Jamal Brown, Jermon Bushrod, who's working with us now, tight end Jared Cook, Demario Davis.
Jared
Cook. Coach, you about to make us fuck it, Coach. Coach.
Jonathan Goodwin, Jimmy Graham,
Shout out to Jimmy.
JT Gray,
JT
Ben Grubbs, Roman Harper, Deontay Harris, Mark Ingram, Malcolm Jenkins, Cam Jordan.
There we go.
Alvin Kamara, Mike Carney, Marshawn Lattimore, Will Lutz, Thomas Morstead, Carl Nix, Andrews Pete, Ryan Ramczyk, Jeremy Shockey, the late Will Smith, John Stinchcomb, Michael Thomas, Jonathan Vilma, Max Unger, Larry Warford. So here's a problem. When you get married in the off season, you can't invite your team. When you get married somewhere in a different destination, you got to invite maybe your captains of your Super Bowl team or.
Love it, Kim. Except for what you call.
But for every one of those players that didn't get an invite, I would have.
That would get mentioned either.
That would have been awesome. And those that did, they spent enough to make up for the rest of you. But I'm proud I'm proud to have had the opportunity to work with so many great players. I'm thankful. I mentioned the 06 draft class to get to the 17 draft class. You ready? Because we need another shot in the arm here. Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, Marcus Williams, Alvin Kamara, Trey Hendrickson, who's still playing, and we wish him well. It's a people business. And the thing that I'm most proud of is collectively in scouting, Jeff, and your group, and everyone involved in the procurement process, we've consistently found the right people that fit what we're trying to build.
What the fuck?
I'm not able to mention every player's name, but I am able to thank every player today. I can't hit on every coach, my current staff. I just, in a staff meeting, told them our record was 9-8, and we didn't get in the playoffs. We're rooting against the Rams right now because of that.
Love it.
The job they did this year, it was extraordinary.
Laddie.
So for every coach who's been here,
That's your guy,
every scout,
Lynn?
every staff member, the people that take care of the facilities, the equipment guys, security. The last word I wrote down is the building. You know, and I've heard that saying, it takes a village. And honestly, it takes a building to be successful. Not in 1 year, but it takes a building to be successful.
Savage.
Year after year. And
Girl.
And for me to have a chance to be a part of that building and in a position to coach so many of these great players and be around so many of these great people, Jay Romick, I can't hit on everyone, but man, the tireless amount of time and energy people spend, especially in the last 2 years, I thank them. I thank them. All right.
Don't get crying. Come on, man. Lance
That's
Moore.
a lot.
So
Damn,
you can mention everyone's name, but you can't. You can say Jared Cook.
We're gonna have questions here in a minute.
Oh, bro, what the fuck you mentioned him? Come on, you fuck the whole speech
I
up.
don't know what's next.
You lost me.
You lost
It
me.
feels good.
You lost.
The last thing I did before I went to bed, I Google searched how not to cry during a speech, and one of the items was drink water and yawn. Well, I didn't want to yawn, but it worked a little bit.
Did we know you crying?
Well, I don't want to cry, guys.
So with that, I'll open the floor to questions.
Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Let's hit on.
Come up to the podium if you would for your question right here.
I think we're good. The question was, why now?
Good question.
Every year you go to training camp, and
Don't
the one
say
unique
Jason
thing about our job is it's entirely different than your summer. And I don't know if it was a year earlier, maybe, depending on when Drew retired. Look, he and I never discussed when his last game would be or when I'd be finished. I just felt like this season it was challenging for everyone. But man, I felt like it was time. I felt like it was time. You know, I kind of knew maybe heading into training camp this might, but you don't share that with anyone. You think,
Training
well,
camp, yeah.
let's see how the season goes, and we're working hard, and
Another bus fuzz. Huh?
I felt the time was right for me. I felt the time was right, and it's something that I've been thinking about. You know, I think that, look, you have close friends in the industry. I've lost a few close friends in this industry in the last 2 or 3 years. And also, you know, they're
Y'all can keep
Forget
saying whoever
football,
y'all
there's
don't
other
want them to say,
things.
keep saying it. Y'all bring them all up. Don't bring their asses up here.
there's a lot of
Bring their ass to the
sacrifices
light.
you
Keep
make,
saying
and
it.
so
I like it. Don't say. We're gonna just say don't
not many
say.
get to choose their terms, and I looked at it as an opportunity also to see my kids more, to travel some more,
Told y'all
to get
16
better
years,
shape.
dog. No,
There's an attrition 2 a.m. And I know I hear people say, well, you don't have, yeah, I get it, but I need to. That's the way it works for me.
2 a.m.
And I think the attention to details
Time
is
to go
so
to sleep.
important that it can be exhausting. And so I felt
we're going to sleep at fucking
as
2 in
this
the
season
evening.
was winding down,
Right at the practice, he out of there.
that it was the right thing. And then the last week and a half, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. And now,
It don't sound like it has anything to do with the
Here's the thing.
Cowboys. I don't think that shit.
Right.
our division. So we had won 4 divisions in a row and competed our tail off. Tampa Bay this year won the division, and congratulations. And yet, man, we battled against them.
Whoop their
Atlanta,
ass, Sean.
Carolina, they're working to get things going. And so I like the roster. Yeah, there's some challenges, but man, we played good defense this year. Man, our kicking game, Riz and Phil, were outstanding.
Yep.
Consistently in the top 5. And you see a lot of exciting football, but you also see a lot of bad football, and it's hard for the fan to see it. And there's a young group of offensive players.
I like it, TJ.
But it wasn't about that. It wasn't about that. It was a personal decision of feeling like, it's time. So it's sometimes hard to, but not with any regret. There's some excitement, like, all right, what next?
Right.
Bro.
I honestly don't know what's next. Next question. No.
Facts.
Look, you feel that
Facts,
way going
bro.
to training camp every year.
From within, I agree.
No,
2 a.m.
It's
Sean,
been the
you up
last.
before the
It's
chicken.
been the last season.
2
No, it's been the
a.m.
last season. No, the hard thing about this game, and you
Don't
guys
say
know
Mike
this,
McKenzie.
the losses are always challenging. The work week, Monday, and there's a little bit of grit that defines players and coaches. And when you get the right group, you respond. We've had some challenging losses. We've had some great wins, and I've always loved how we've responded. I think I love when I hear people say, man, your guys play hard. They're tough. And those are important traits that hopefully,
Don't say Jerry
we're
Bird.
part of developing, but it still gets back
The
to the players
biggest
and the
bust
people.
contract
But
we
no, I
ever.
would say it's been more this season. It's too early for that yet. I know this. The question is, how do I want to be remembered? And someone who had passion and someone that cared a lot, winning's important in that. It's important in that. I thought about my mom, if she were alive today. 2 things. I wore this shirt because she always said, you have to wear this color. It matches your eyes. She'd be in her 90s today. Her and my dad are both passed away. But they talk all the time about like leaving a place be better than when you got there to begin with.
They did.
And I think we've done
Don't
that.
say Cody Fleener.
And it's not finished. We've got all these coaches that are sitting here,
Fake ass Jimmy Graham
and Mickey, and the leadership in place to continue that. But yeah, we're not writing an obituary today. It's a step. It's just another direction. No, Mike, that's hard to do any of that, right? I think in fairness to Dennis, who's a great candidate in the building, or any other coach that possibly would be hired, I think that
kick the rules in the
in
ass.
this game. You're jumping in the deep end. and you're swimming. And if you elect to stay out, then that's fine. But I think that, I think that that's the approach that I think has to be taken. Go ahead. Yeah, I don't, and look, they're going to be, I can't control, look, I felt like 10 years went by and we talked about the other team for a lot, and I get it. I understand it. But
Talk about Dallas.
no, my plans are not to be
Say that you
coaching in 2022. And that's just how I feel.
Definitely don't say Eli trash apple. Fuck him.
Candy apple.
Thank you.
Sean's
Thank
still
you.
beating around the bush.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be your head coach for 16 years. I appreciate each and every one of them. And so thank you for
small endorsement time,
sticking with us in the good times and in the tough times. They've been outstanding. And so it's really that feeling of being grateful for having a chance to have been a part of this organization and coach for them.
He said no. Kevin said he ain't coaching on 2022.
That's why I hope he do come in that front office and be over player personnel,
Just stay around.
No, look, when I talk to Skylene or when I talk to my children, this isn't something that you can talk with 8 people about today.
Don't say stuff on that,
even my siblings
talk
found
about
out,
the no call on air, Sean.
So no, it was really back to trust your gut. And go with your gut. In other words, when does it end? Does it end when you get fired? I said at the beginning, I think it's easier to be fired. As difficult as that is, you thank everybody and they say, well, we wish him well. He made it. But when you choose to leave,
all right.
Oh, my bad, y'all. My bad.
My mind's telling me no, but my body's.
Or recent examples just in how to approach this. But yeah, it was a decision ultimately that sat with me, and I'm comfortable with it.
Talk about the no call on air.
All right, my biggest regret first, besides the Ninkovich debacle, would be the double reverse against Tampa Bay. We ran a double reverse against Tampa Bay in the 4-minute and lost the game. And Mickey brought me a study on Ambien and its erratic behavior and mood swings with people. I've got a lot of regrets. I mentioned one of them. I wish I would have done a better job.
We're gonna be straight, bro.
Early on in my career with the media, and hopefully I corrected that. But yeah, there are always going to be personnel regrets, decisions. But the double reverse, the Ninkovich decision, that there's a lot. There are. It's easy to say you're most proud of a Super Bowl team, but I'm most proud of the culture in the winning seasons. Our first year here was 06. 07, we played in the Hall of Fame game in Canton. We played the Steelers. I believe it was their 50th. There was an anniversary for Pittsburgh. And so every once in a while as a coach, you get into one of these games you're not really sure about. And we had a player that we had just signed. I can't tell you his name, but he was on Pittsburgh's roster. and it was during training camp. So we're talking about a 90-man roster. It was a wide receiver. We go to Canton, we're playing the Steelers, and come to find out he was cut because the Steelers had found out he had stolen some stuff from the locker room and from some good players there. And so during pregame warmup for a preseason game, I noticed the level of intensity is a little bit unusual for a pregame. And anyway, we played that game and got waxed. And we did a tour of the museum, the Hall of Fame. And aside from the Katrina exhibit, there wasn't a Hall of Fame player. Ricky was going to go in, I think, a year or two later. And so I talked to the players a little bit about culture. And now many of them weren't aware of the Steelers story, with Chuck Noll and the years there that they were close. And then finally, they get over the hump. And man, that time frame is shorter now for young coaches, for new coaches. But if you can, that you can build something that that will stay for a while. And so I would say, Larry, it would be the
culture. Basically, I put Hall of Famers.
How we're viewed today
Hall of Famers in the Hall of Fame
by anyone who's
I coach Hall of Famers.
21, 22 or younger is pretty cool. Pretty good.
What are you going to miss most about coaching?
What will I miss most? I'll miss the people. There's a feeling when something happens in a game and you watch one of your players do something and grow, that any teacher, I think, would tell you is awfully rewarding. Regardless of whether he's a starter, a backup, or a practice squad player, but to see them improve or get better and do something extraordinary, man, like that can fill you. So the relationships and then, the teaching part of it. Impossible, right? I mean, impossible to predict. Question was, how would I have envisioned the ending? Honestly, you don't even think about the ending. Like, you don't have time to think about, what if you don't have time to think about. So for the last, call it maybe week, I've thought about not the ending, but the presentation of the ending, like this. But I don't think when you're young and going fast and trying to build something, you're ever considering what it's going to be like. There's a motivation, a strong motivation when you discuss like fear of failure. That's I think a very real driving force. I honestly had no idea about 15 years. You're just focused on just going and winning and getting more players and people that can help you win. And it doesn't seem like 15 seasons, honestly. It seems probably more like 11. And it's never, I always say this when I see the children of our coaches, when I see Dennis Allen's children or Pete Carmichael's children or CJ's children or Dan Dalrymple, that's what ages you. Because you remember, their ages when you first started.
Facts, Ty.
But you see those other people like the same
the last
way.
3 years or 4
the
with the Steelers, but
really,
exactly what you're talking
because you're
about.
around them so much.
Don't say January 90s. Keep them coming.
Listen, honestly, it wasn't excruciating because we were winning. It was exciting. I was just like you. Now, not you covering the game, but I was just like you, the fan. And you don't know how that game, you're playing a team that just won the Super Bowl. And you don't move your cup because it's in the right spot. You don't, all those things took place. And so that was a really good moment. It was a moment that I was so proud for our players and our coaches and everyone that was a part of that win.
You talking about the win against the Bucks?
That was unique, obviously, but it was more just like a fan. There's not like there's communication early in the week relative to some early parts of the game plan.
What's
but
next with the
man, those
quarterback
guys on our staff did a great
situation.
job. Everyone jumped in and really picked up. The roles maybe were different a little bit, and Ryan Nielsen almost got a bench foul for getting into a shouting match with Brady.
Oh yeah.
When you watch
Ryan Nielsen,
you saw passion.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Fuck you, Brady.
Like I told
That's what Ryan Nielsen told him. Fuck you, Brady. Go fuck yourself, bitch. Sorry, family.
Yeah, the question relative to hours and workload, they were all different. The guys I worked with, Bill or John or any of these coaches, we kind of had a formula here. It varied depending on the game. Some weeks weren't as long. Part of it's me just wanting to go through it one more time. As a coach, though, you would always be interested in the off season when you're at the combine or the Senior Bowl, talking with your peers, other coaches, like, hey, what's your schedule like? Because we've been in the last 5 years have been, man, ever changing relative to the off season program. That's changed. And then look, with COVID, it's even changed more, right? So trying to always figure out the best schedule is something that you talk about to your staff. You talk about it like, hey, you guys think we should be in pads today? We should be, that's something that you're always looking at. The season didn't weigh on me. Mickey knows this. I'll be honest with you, and I want this to sound the right way. So we've evacuated a couple times, right? We went to Indianapolis, and then I'd say we've had 3 warnings, and in all 3 events, I want to go. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's the perfect chance. Not talking about a crisis. But, you take a team and their family members and an organization to another city, there's a lot of work and money involved in that. This gets back to Mrs. B and Dennis. Will it help us? Yes. Here's why. And then someday a story on why we chose Jacksonville. And I think Jeff got a lot of it right. Those challenges are exciting. Because I've heard, look, and I'm not offended, but I've heard a lot of people say, man, he looked exhausted. And that was probably more he looked out of shape than exhausted. I'm not offended. I'm all right with that. I'm okay. But that gets back to Doug Miller's Zoom camera angle, honestly. And we miss Greg Benzel being here today. He's getting his gallbladder done. So I told Doug, I want a little elevation. I don't want any cameras that are just staring at my neck.
That dude funny,
from
bro.
2 feet away.
Kumbaya.
The season wasn't exhausting. It was exciting. And
don't say Paul Kruger.
Us moving for 4 weeks was perfect. Obviously not for our city, but I'm just saying relative to building a team where training camps in the last couple of years are just different for obviously good reasons. And so here came this opportunity to develop a team culture and prepare for another season. And so, but this question you're asking, this topic, there's been so many more times where Mickey's like, and I'm like, no, let's do it. Let's definitely do this. And Mickey's like, it's a thunderstorm. I'm like, that's all right. We can go somewhere, or we can do something that heightens the level of awareness. I understand that.
Got to know her gallbladder like the back of my goddamn
Think about it,
hand.
Mike. When does the question get asked? No one asked the fired coach if he was burnt out. Right? You ask him, hey, how was your time here? What are you going to do next? What have you? And so we'll figure it out. Yeah, there's an element of, I don't know, burnout seems kind of, it's like the next challenge too sometimes. Like, what's next?
Was there one specific moment where you were like, okay, I need the break, or was it all?
What was the end of the question?
Or was it all in
Yeah, I don't think there was one moment. No, there wasn't a moment where it's like,
Sean, funny, I'm crying at work. That dude
look, no one had fun the week we played Miami.
Somebody need to ask him if he's thinking about
that
going
was
to
what it
Dallas.
was.
Straight up, huh? This is a straight up question.
I
I'm
understand it.
straight to the point.
No,
Huh? Ask him about James.
There wasn't that moment where you came back in and said,
He just called it the other team. He didn't say Dallas' name. He said we know about the other team.
There
They've
were
been saying that for
moments.
years. for
Oh
about 10
yeah, he
years.
did. He did.
He said I'm not coaching nowhere for 2022.
that you felt like, man, I'm pretty upbeat, and I would say raised by my mom in a way. And I say this, both my parents, but my mom was very optimistic. And I think those traits, I feel
That's
like
what they need to
I'm
ask about
that
him.
way.
James, huh?
And so there's times where, you get heated in the game, and, whether it's a player, coach, or anyone, you might have but I don't really think about it the next day. So there was not that, this is it. I can't point to one. Well, I've only had a chance to talk with a few of them. It's kind of hard. Once again, it gets back to, how do you do this?
He talked
You have a
to
team
Michael
meeting?
Thomas and Demario Davis. He let them know.
Read about it all, or do you have? And so
How
I'll
you
have
know?
a chance
Just tweeted.
over the next couple of weeks to visit with a number of players.
You're
I
gonna see
saw
it right
Mike
now.
Thomas earlier. I saw Demario. I just missed Cam. But one by one, I'll have a chance to visit with these guys. It's difficult when everyone leaves after the season.
Don't say Rex Ryan, Steve Spagnuolo. He definitely not saying Greg Williams. Fucking zero blitz.
No. Look, Mickey and I barely. I mean, we shared time just discussing this, and with Scale,
Rob
Dennis.
Ryan time.
That'll all take place at the right time. I will always have a place and a part of me here, and I'm waiting to move into another residence, but those decisions will come with, hopefully. I just had a meeting with the staff and reflected on a number of things, and hopefully you make an impression like others before me, made an impression with me that I don't even know it, but
The
maybe
other
that
team.
I'm passing on to
Fuck them.
to future head coaches, future coordinators, future GMs, because I want every one of them to realize those dreams. Like I root for, Doug Marrone when he's being a head coach,
Fuck
and
'em.
now at Alabama, and Curtis at Tulane, and Dennis at Oakland, and any of these people that were part of this process here, regardless of where they're at, you root for them. I do, and because you want to see them have success, and it's important to our program. And no different than our players. I think it's the hardest thing for a player sometimes when they end up on a different roster. Man, we're pulling for you. Like I'm pulling for Von Bell and Trey. Eli a little bit.
I love it.
Go ahead, Jeff.
A little bit. Eli, a little bit.
I look at the short term is nothing, but I'll have to go to the Super Bowl for some, a marketing commitment with Zebra, and that's great. They do a great job, and I enjoy working, with their technology and meeting with some people.
Technology.
See it, huh?
I'd like to try TV.
He won't do TV,
And
bro.
I've had some opportunities.
He won't do TV.
And yet I really don't.
Keep saying it.
I talked to Drew a little bit about it last night. I don't know that part of it that well.
I'm with you,
That'd be
Kim. Put me
something
on that motherfucker.
that would interest me. And so I think the hardest part is sitting in your chair saying, wait a minute, you haven't talked with a network yet. You haven't talked with, not a word. So hopefully that opportunity comes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know if he say if he's gonna be around the team.
Yeah. It's the unknown. I mean, all of us, we all get comfortable with certain things, right? We get comfortable in certain shoes. You don't know it until your better half tells you you're going to wear that again. And you realize that it's on like a 4-day rotation instead of, a 12-day rotation. We get comfortable in our jobs. We get comfortable in our relationships. We get comfortable. And every once in a while, and I think this probably plays a big part of it. It's, you don't want to have a regret relative to another challenge or another. And so retirement, I don't think is the right word today.
As a
I
mother.
went through that year of trying to play after college, and friends are getting married, and other friends have health insurance, normal stuff. They're out of college, and bouncing around from the Arena League to the CFL as a backup over in London. And your parents are like, "What are you going to do?" And I'm like, "Well,
me too, Mom.
So,
me too, baby."
I got hired. Steve Devine at San Diego State was in charge of graduate assistants. They had 4 then. I got hired over the phone. I flew from London to Chicago, Naperville, where I'm from. You have to be successful. Like whatever it is, you got to figure it out quick. And generally speaking, it's work hard, make a good impression. And so I'm sure, John, there's been other moments. There's been setback. Just talking with Dan Rochar, University of Illinois, we get fired as a staff, and where are we going? I think if you look at the path of a lot of coaches, there's that same adversity, maybe that that also appears with players' paths. You know, an injury or a setback, and this one's a little unique in that it's like you're choosing to go outside in the cold and do this. You're choosing to. So, but that's okay. What was 18? Oh, yeah, no, that was a hard way to end the season. No, but that was, no, I think we felt like in all of these years, they run together, you know. Look, we've won more games in the last 5 years than any team in the NFL except the Chiefs. And I'm proud of that. And unless your name is Bill Belichick or Tom Brady, all of us are running after the next one and the next one. And Andy is wanting to get this next one. And Sean is wanting to get his first one. Kyle's wanting to get his first one. And it's challenging and difficult and chasing it, because here's the thing. And I think the hardest thing about the 18 season is you're a game away. You get more excited for the players and the coaches on your team that have never been, they don't understand. And I recall saying this a number of times. I don't know what you think it's like to be in a Super Bowl and win it. So picture that question posed to a player, or for that matter, anyone in here as part of the organization. And then I want you to times it by 100,000. That's how good it is. And it's like, really?
Gratifying.
200,000. And even when you look back on those moments where in 09, when the season ended, you're not ready to stop playing. Like, you're like, I don't want this to stop. And so the frustration later in your career is, you've watched something or done something and you can't wait to show your friend, like, where do you see this movie? And you really want to watch it again, almost more than they want to watch it for the first time. Or experience, like, where do you try this dish? And you're like, I don't want to try that. You're like, no, I'll eat it with you. That is the Super Bowl. And so that's one of the things that you look forward to doing, is watching others' reactions. Like, wait till you see pregame warm-up. You're not going to feel your feet. And you're like, what? Yeah, those are the things I mean, Mike Westhoff, who's been in the league for however many years, this is going to be his first chance. That's what you want for players, coaches, and everyone new in the building that wasn't around for that. It's the journey part of it is the most amazing part. So I haven't seen the schedule yet, so I don't know if it's week 1 at home or on the road. No, I think that'll be, it'll be different. It was different. Look, it was different in 2012 for sure. It was different for one game this year against Tampa, but that ended up being pretty good. And
2012 was miserable.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be different. It'll be, yeah.
Do you think this day wouldn't have been possible for you if you didn't have?
And Joe Vitt was the coach,
Right.
Right. What was half and half?
I think it was Jovic took.
I don't know that impacted today, Mike. It's a great question.
Are you going to go for another team?
What, more difficult?
I don't think he is, Kim. Kim on his ass.
Had you not won the Super Bowl yet? But the problem is, like, one's not enough. It's not enough. and championship games. And, you know, I called Mike Tomlin during the season. Mike Tomlin in week 5 became the 4th fastest coach to win his 150th game in the history of the NFL. Like, and I knew like he was 3 weeks ahead of me, and it was bugging me. And he did it after 232 games, and like 4 weeks later, we do it. And I call him and I said, look, I got to the gas station and they told me you were already here. And it drove me crazy. So there are all these things that are competitively in you that you want to excel at. And that's why I get back to, and I say this with all due respect, and I mean that, when we got here, who's doing this better than anyone?
So
And if
many
you weren't
wins, only
studying
one.
New England,
Don't do it, Rob.
then you weren't
It's hard, man.
paying attention. So anytime
Bro.
Bill would say or ask, would you like to practice? Yes. And then when you were practicing, you were kind of like, can we come in? Like, what do you mean? Can I look at your locker room? Can we look at your weight room? We want to learn. And I find it, look, I understand it's their job, but the whole discussion of, was it the chicken or the egg, Bill or Tom or Bill? Are you kidding me? Like, all right, the Hall of Fame is pretty special, and it's got a tremendous legacy of players and coaches and people that have been involved in the game. And so now picture this for a second, Jeff. You got to pick a starting lineup out of the Hall and a head coach. And once their legacy is finalized, the head coach is Bill and the quarterback is Brady. And we can argue about every other position. I have opinions on who the receivers are. I have opinions on who the tackles are, who the defensive backs are.
But everybody picking Bill in town.
There's no argument relative to, might be a backup Q, might be the assistant head coach that'll help with defense. But that was the team, and that was the crash course. How are they? And you know what? Culture, smart players, selflessness, team,
And that's
all those things. And obviously a fantastic surrounding cast and a great quarterback, like we were able to acquire here with Drew. Listen, I'm telling you, it's like someone said, hey, this is where you're going to be at after 48 minutes. I'd be like, I'll take it. Because I worry about stumbling when I talk with Mickey or about Mickey. I worried about stumbling when I talk about Drew Brees. Stumbling meaning having to drink this water. And I'm just bringing up 2 examples. But like what personally those 2 people have meant to my career, it's you can't put a price on it. So I don't know that I feel comfortable.
he rambling, no?
But I began to feel more comfortable.
He getting it all out, bro. This is something that you can think about. He been trying to retire his speech and all. You know, there's so many thoughts on it.
Heavy on his heart.
Hard. You know how you have something you have to do, and it's like you're not procrastinating it, because quite honestly, it's a little embarrassing in that we're right in the middle of the playoffs, and you don't want to be.
I'm the only one tripping out that it was 16 years ago.
We just
what
had
the
a
fuck?
great weekend of football, like unbelievable.
Right,
and we're getting ready to have another great weekend with the championship
what
games.
happened?
And so you don't.
I was kind of confused about him retiring
honestly.
right now and the season not over.
And so it's kind of like that.
Our season over, but the football.
You want it to hurry up and you want to do it.
And that's what he's talking about right now.
Yeah, you want to do it. And then it's like, All right. How do you do a good job of it? And how do you thank everybody? Like, who am I missing today? I'm sure I'm missing someone, and I apologize. But as a player here, as a coach here, as someone that was a part of our organization, like, it's the building. That's what I'm most proud of. And that's what I'm grateful for.
All right. I think that's why I think you're doing commentary.
Well, that went back to that irrational behavior with Ambien.
You don't want to burn no bridges.
Can't burn
I
no
slept
bridges
okay.
right now, Rob. You got to wait another 10, 15 years to punish their ass. They've been great. But he want to do TV. That's what I'm getting from this. You don't want to coach. You want to do TV and maybe front
Relax.
office.
He want to relax. He still want to study football and relax a little
So,
bit.
bro,
Here's
what
what
you
happens
took from this?
sometimes, Catherine.
That's what I took.
The game
I
ends.
just looked at the court. I just looked at that's what I took,
All right,
Kevin. I
Connor
didn't
and
see it.
Megan. Connor was maybe 9 when we won a Super Bowl. Megan 13. I'm just guessing ages, right? But I have pictures of them on the podium. You know, Connor blowing a bubble and Megan with a broken forearm from cheerleading. And man, life is good to be the child of a coach who's just won the Super Bowl. And then there are these other games where it's been a tough loss. They see you afterwards. They're not tearful, but they're emotional, and they're like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm all right." Like, it's what I do, but it's not who I am. And
AB.
now they're at an age where they understand that. You know, my daughter, after seeing this over, you know, the period of her young life, decided I'm gonna cover coaches and be a reporter on coaches. And my son, who wants to become in the front office
I thought about
someday,
that too.
scout and be a GM someday, said, I'd rather hire and fire the coaches. That's what I'd rather do. And he's awfully
I
smart.
think that makes sense, Todd.
And so,
was about to go
Yeah.
to another. Okay.
He got an interview. He had an interview with the Bears.
So he basically opened the door wide open for Dennis Allen.
Matter of fact, I think Dennis Allen at the interview today.
Right now, today, yeah. It was a
I think there's
Skype
2 or 3
interview,
cities.
A Zoom interview. I got it.
So,
Oh yeah, that would be.
I love it. We're
That
gonna bring
would
him on.
Larry asked a
think.
question like, all right, head coaching advice. You have to be yourself. The best advice I ever got, and it was in a book. My head coach in high school, this gets back to being touched by the right people, and you don't even know it's happening. But, you know, as a parent, the greatest gift you can ever receive is when someone, teacher, music teacher, professor, anyone of
I
influence,
think this works when Drew. I think
loves your
this
child
is.
for a short
I
period of
think this
time,
is.
every bit as you love them. That's pretty
We
powerful.
lost them both.
Like when
They both
someone
gone. That's the thing.
makes an impact with your
Right.
child,
That's true too.
and my high school coach did, and
We were just talking this season about him being a
it wasn't
coach for
always
life.
perfect.
I remember
Yep.
saying that this season,
But
like some
he had on the
Sean
cover
being a
of his
coach for
book,
life,
just
Saints for life.
And
So
he get to
I
choose
agree.
when he
It's much
leaves. We ain't
easier
gonna
to
never
be
fire
fair
him, man.
than
He
trying
did
to
choose when he
appear to be
leaves.
fair. You know how much trouble like you get into when you're trying to appear something, and so that was pretty good. Relative to the fan base, sink it in and take it in, and it's a great football fan base. There might be 2 or 3 others in the world like it, similar to it. And man, how fortunate, like for me at a young age to happen on a head coaching position with it. 05 season, 06, like right after. And look, some things like we got off to a decent start in 06, tough game at Cleveland. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I can remember the song playing on the field pregame. and it was a country song about Sundays or something. I can remember Green Bay is when the first time I thought Drew's arm's going to be okay, and I kept yelling at Pete before then, like, "Is this it?" And Drew knows this story. It's like, because I didn't have, Pete had the reference as to what it was.
Pete
when
Carmichael.
it was fully recovered, but he made it past to Colston on a pylon for a touchdown. We came back. We were down 13. We won that game. Atlanta week 3, and then all of a sudden, like anything else, you guys have heard me say this, confidence like can develop, but it's from demonstrated behavior, and that's what you're watching right now when you watch San Francisco play. Like it's evolving, and they're the team that Tampa was a year ago, and that's powerful in sport.
Yeah, I think Dennis gonna get that position. He gonna be running it. He gonna be up there, man.
He dabbling in his analysis right now. He calling out other teams and what they doing and shit, showing he can analyze. You know,
I think
trying to get a job.
It's an easy question. I think anytime you're discussing relationships, it's the willingness that both parties have.
That's true. Double S.
In making sure it's strong.
Hard to compete with that and take
I
it
think
easy.
Relative to Drew being the quarterback for that long, or Mickey and I, or Pete, or any coach, it's the common goal of, like, number one, we like each other, but also we each want to.
Facts, Ty.
We're each pushing for the same success.
Facts, 100%. Even with Sean
those
now.
like-minded goals are positive, and I think they help that.
I hope that's the case.
Consistency is key. Elevating the coach this year and see how it shakes
Mickey,
out.
Gale, and
Let's
Dennis.
go. I know Big Q is going to talk about this. Oh yeah, you know
That's
he
it.
is.
I mean,
oh, you know
because I
he
didn't
is.
talk with
He
anyone.
getting the banner
Like,
right now.
Mickey, and down the hall to Gale, and then down the hall to Dennis in that order, and then Dennis again, and Mickey and Gale.
We got the Pelican games early today too.
6 o'clock.
No,
right on the dot. That's your
That's my shit.
Look, I spent a week confirming what I believed.
Trying to give Sean some respect.
And that was smart. But I wouldn't say.
Somebody in the chat, this the longest interview from
Atlanta
Sean
game,
ever.
Beating Atlanta, and in the locker room watching the end of that game in overtime. But it was like, well, this is it. Like
he is because it might be a minute. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't saving programs or.
You're giving us material.
Yeah, I think it was something a little bit more. I thought it could be it. This might be it, and if this is it, and you beat Atlanta one more time, that's pretty cool.
Don't mind if I do type of situation.
All right, sack Brady one more time. That'd be great.
I don't know that you have to organize your thoughts. Arriving at the decision is more than just give thought to. All right, why? Like, in other words, how do you see this next year unfolding? There's like a lot of things. You put a list together, things that you want to do, like simple things, and then a list of more complex things, and then a list of like what you'd like to do. And you weigh it against.
Pay save Ryan Nielsen from LSU.
I mean,
the debacle.
And this is important, I think, because there've been mixed.
I would be surprised if he didn't have a lot. Right,
contract here. So I've just completed year 2 of a 5-year deal, and it certainly wasn't about compensation, money, or any of that. Because of that, I'm able to make a decision, where there's uncertainty, and yet, it's a decision you couldn't make when you were younger because you had to work. That's all. How much? Well, I think when you win, this is always funny. I always argue with the marketing people. I think you got to win. You can market, and marketing's extremely important. but man, the view never changes when you're on top. And that part, the importance of having success, and that's how we're measured in a highly competitive field. It's extremely important. And, you know, you work 3 years for a Hall of Fame coach like Parcells. Man, you learn so much. You know, you learn so much.
Bro.
And prior to that, you work for the
I don't think I'm gonna say about that. That just mean the Saints ain't gonna be on top, and I don't like it.
You learn a lot.
They need to take over the city.
Family, Tisch family, all those
let's
people
do
that
something.
were instrumental in my early growth. Philadelphia, the Lurie family.
Let's win.
My first job, you know, getting hired by Gruden and Ray Rhodes and those guys. And here's the staff. You ready? 97, 98, John Harbaugh, myself, David Shaw, Gruden, Juan Castillo, line coach, Vitt, coach forever, Emmett Thomas, Hall of Fame player, great coach, Mike Turgeback. I'm going to keep going. Bill Callahan, former head coach. Like there were all of us just working and to later then see the success that, and to be just a small, like when I say, man, get coffee, cut up tape, but be able to be a part of stuff like that. It's not till later that you were like, man, I was fortunate. I was fortunate.
It's definitely, like we said with Drew Brees, it's definitely going to look different. It's going to look different.
Anything that in regards to?
I think he wants to be on top.
Yeah. All right. What do you miss?
To be on top going out. Well, we didn't make the playoff this year, so
Thanksgiving.
At least we got to be Atlanta one more time, like you said, huh?
We play on Thanksgiving. It's not difficult. Christmas is hard, and
perfect time for Zion to return, huh? Save the city, huh? Fuck.
Outside of that,
who we gonna draft? Never know. All who didn't want to get, huh?
I think Jazz Fest was like late summer.
The draft about to look different as well.
Maybe not.
Jazz Fest is not
free agents.
Impossible. We haven't had it in a while, right? The biggest thing is the stuff you miss with your families and your children. And you know, they're older now, but they open up a gift, and I'm like, "Do you like it?" And you're like, "Yeah," but I know mom bought it. And, you know, it's hard.
Yeah, mom didn't pay for
some
it.
of those things are hard.
I'd hit him with that. Mom didn't pay for it. I'd have hit it.
I think that's the case with any job.
Fuck you, mean? You want me to go out there?
There's certain pros and certain cons.
But damn.
You know, and so whether it's
That's
a night
tough.
job, whether it's
When
a
they
day
can't
job,
pay you
whether
that.
it's weekends, whether you're in the military, But I'm sure there'll be things. I haven't gone to a tailgate ever. And I go by one like every day on the way to the Superdome with the way I come in under the duct. I see them and I'm like, they're having more fun than me right now. I'd make a left and a right and go through the stadium parking, head in. And then it's always tough getting out, you know, leaving. But those people aren't worried about third down. Jenny's will still be possible. I promise the tradition. What's the best way to say it? For the near and coming future. So we do a thing here. I say we Jenny's ice cream has been great. And you know how Christmas gifts after a while, the turkeys.
What up, Earl, baby? That's what we hope for, Earl.
Like
what we thinking.
I was late this year.
Dennis and let Pete run off it. Sean trying to go live.
Guaranteed I didn't probably
live with
hit
his
everyone.
life with his wife. Chill. Real talk.
Make sure Greg, Doug, we check this
I'm
list.
telling you, you trying to cut up with him.
And
I would have took that shit
the
back
challenge
from
this
that
year,
kid.
scheduling wise,
Talking sporty, huh, bro? Oh, your mom bought it, huh?
So that'll be ongoing.
Let me show you this receipt.
Snatch that bitch like T.I. snatch Nunu chain, huh?
Nah.
Yeah. So how have things changed facility wise? This indoor was a great facility for us. We've changed how it looks. You know, we're fortunate right down the road to have crystal clear imaging, and you can pretty much take a picture and within, 2 days, blow it up and have it here. The banners, those have changed. There's a lot more of them.
We worry about third.
Weight rooms completely different.
We are worried about
Meeting
third.
rooms, the interior design, now suspended. There's a remodel of the building. And Mrs. B was real
I love it, Kim.
smart.
Fuck you talking about it. Worry about
I
third.
was like an old deer head, and I never hunted.
Fuck you think
before,
this is, huh?
alligator, all these things that sat
You
in
talking
the
about them
office,
casual
like
fans, though,
mysterious
Kim. You know what you talking about.
That's
Motherfucker out there
exactly what
checking
we
out.
worry about, Kim.
You
Third
fucking worry about third
down.
down. We checking your numbers after the game. I think we convert on third. What's the percentage, Sean? Don't get it fucked
to the
up.
T.
He ain't talking about us, bros. He ain't talking about the broettes.
And
The bros and the broettes.
So much has changed, and every year it's changing. We always feel like or felt like we wanted the players to come back to a look that was necessary, but also different. A new training room, which was remarkable, a big deal. The locker room, cafeteria here in the future, the meeting rooms that are getting redone now. It's always improving, moving forward, not necessarily for recruiting, but really more so for functionality and
Comfortability.
and being, do we need it? All right. And then what is it we need? And then let's do it. And back to Dennis, Mrs. B, Mickey, and everyone that's a part of that.
Dennis keeps saying
And it's
his name.
important that it starts with, do we need it?
You
How's it
talking
gonna
about Dennis
benefit us?
Lauscher, though,
Oh,
the president.
Good.
Love you, Sean, baby. One time for Sean Payton. Who that?
boy, Sean's still talking, boy.
Sean ain't still post.
Oh,
What you watching it on? He hugging up right now. They dapping everybody off. I'm not gonna listen to everybody.
mine was after yours. That's
Yeah.
why.
Much love, Sean Payton, man. Man,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. After the fuck Eddie just got up, that just felt like damn, it's over. He gonna shake everybody. Hey, look, Nick Underhill, everybody. He gonna shake their hand, man.
A
He gonna
couple of
shake everybody.
reporters probably crying, boy.
Yeah, man. Fletcher.
John DeShazier.
Yeah, man. John DeShazier just dabbed him off, man.
That's Mike Triplett, Nick Underhill.
Shout out to all the
Jeff
guys
Dunk.
out there. Yo, if Denzel take over, might get
WL.
more SEC players in the draft. That's why we drunk pregame Sean. That's why we drunk pregame Sean. Shout out to everybody, man. Norman Hand said, fuck Payton. Yeah, he said that? Norman Hand said, fuck Payton?
He ain't play for Sean.
Fuck him too.
He was talking because he probably they credit their error, their little error.
Oh, he talked to Demario Davis. Demario Davis was there and Curtis Jackson. Demario Davis was in the building. Shout out to Mario.
Nice. Oh, look, he right there, yeah.
Sean always reaching his hand out stiff. I ain't gonna lie. He got that motherfucking
Straight,
firm motherfucker. Yeah.
Fucking Terminator.
Shout out to man. It was great, man. I want Sean to hit the Sean Payton and Josephine Johnny dance, huh?
Yeah.
Already down. Damn.
There go Mickey.
It's really over, like for real, for real. Yeah, I know it is, man. But it's all good. One Super Bowl. I hope we see another. And we will. So shout out to Cuz, man. So
we
man,
still got a Super Bowl defense.
Still got everything intact. You know what I'm saying? Everything intact. We ain't tripping, man. So
And
man, we appreciate everybody that's coming in, watch that with us, man. Y'all know what it is. It's Who That for Life. Thank you, Sean. Much love, man. We got another stream that's about to be in probably like an hour and 30 minutes. So, man, we're gonna see y'all again. We're gonna finish the conversation. Pelicans versus 76ers tonight at 6:00. So, man, appreciate y'all in there. Shout out to Sean. Thank you, bro. It's all love. Once a Who That, always a Who That. Thank you for everything. We was witness all Super Bowl 2009. Thank you, bro. Hey. Why you waiting? Do your dance. Come on, y'all. Give me that.
Yeah.
One time. Love you, coach. Yeah. We need that. Black and gold.
Yeah.
No, it's not double S. We good, baby. See y'all later. Who that? Much love to everybody in the building, man. We love y'all. We gonna be back at y'all. Much love. Who that, y'all. Much love.
Unleash the beast. Yeah. Man, there's a monster inside you. That monster got heat. You already know what it is. Best of the game right here.
I hold it down for my area. I'm always repping my area. Throw up an E if you fuck with us. Bang what you claim if you real enough. They know me at Bank of America. Got a bank and it's not in America. Gotta save it, we just had to bury it. I be flipping this shit like an area. Brand new Bentley GT, that's my cherry. And I stay underground like I'm Harriet. I got the game and I married it. I got the holla. They know me at Bank of America. Got a bank and it's not in America. Gotta save it, we just had to bury it. I be flipping this shit like an aerial. Brand new Bentley GT, that's my cherry. And I stay underground like I'm Harriet. I got the game and I married it. I got the torch, I'ma carry it. Made it out the hood, it's a miracle. From the home of the shooters like Oracle. The shit that I'm doing historical. When I'm done, they gon' make a memorial. I hold my head up like I'm arrogant.